Welcome to 100 Days to Greatness. My name is Brian Buffini, and I love the real estate business. I want to welcome you to the most rewarding, challenging, and the fairest industry you'll ever see. There are a lot of misconceptions about what the real estate business is and what it's not. And in this course, we're going to help you separate fact from fiction. My friend and mentor, Zig Ziglar, told me, Brian, if you help other people get what they want in life, you'll get everything you want. And that's the very essence of the real estate business. We're going to show you a step-by-step way to succeed in this business. This is a business where you get a chance to serve people, help people, work hard, and make a good living for yourself, and then maybe even buy the very product you sell as an investor. I've gone from being a poor, broke immigrant to a multimillionaire because of this business. And for the past 25 years, I've been training people all over the world how to do this business right. My goal for you in taking this program is to help you become a professional realtor, someone who's got the skills, capabilities, and the systems in place to operate at the highest levels possible. It's a wonderful business, and I'm glad you've joined your first step in this journey. This is a comprehensive training program. By the end of this course, if you stick with it and do the homework, at the end of 100 days, not only will you be a capable sales professional, but you'll have already developed customers and have closed transactions. That's my expectation for you. So buckle up, strap in. We have a workbook for you to follow. Fill in the blanks. There's notes to take. And as the song says, let's get it started. Welcome to 100 Days to Greatness. So first point, and a chance for you to fill in your workbook here, and you'll find I have a typical rhythm where I cover 3 major points. Some of these modules are a little bit longer, some are shorter. We know exactly how much to give you and when. So let's talk about the 3 major things we're going to cover in this opening module. The hardest business you'll ever love. That's the first thing we're going to cover. It's a hard business, it's a great business, and if you do it right, you'll love this business. Second, we're going to talk about how sales is a noble profession. It's a noble profession. A lot of people shy away from the word sales. We're going to have you lean into it and know why. And then lastly, why 100 days? There's a science behind this. We've trained over 3 million people in 37 countries, and we have a real science behind what we're doing and how we're doing it with you. So the 100 days is very, very important. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about the hardest business you'll ever love, but here's where it starts. Here's the love part. What we do is actually called the American dream. You know, very few people can say their product is someone's dream. It's also a necessity. You know, there's only 3 real necessities: food, shelter, and clothing. We're in the shelter business. It's not going anywhere. It's not going out of business. There's no new tech invention that's going to take away housing. Housing is a very, very powerful business. Franklin D. Roosevelt said this: real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid in full, and managed with reasonable care, it is about the safest investment in the world. I love real estate. And one of the things we're going to expose you to throughout this training are the resources. Resources for you to be ongoing, learning, growing, listening, engaging, turning off the negative news, turning into the really good stuff. And one of the things that we're going to recommend for you is a podcast that I do. We have about 500,000 people join us every month on our podcast called The Brian Buffini Show. And an episode that I did that is absolutely essential for you is called The Magic of Owning a Home. It's episode 226. In fact, when you listen to this episode, not only will you be fired up and refired about real estate, it'll be a resource that you'll want to send to every customer you ever meet. And that's what so many of our thousands of clients do. But the magic of owning a home, I'll just give you some tips on it and just some highlights. The average homeowner has 44 times the net worth of the average renter. That's the big, big difference. And that's what we help people do. They go from one economic state to another because they own a home. In the States, 75% of non-homeowners consider buying a home to be a part of their American dream. Almost identical numbers in Canada, by the way. Home ownership leads to more engaged communities since an owner has a more personal investment in the neighborhood's well-being. Children of homeowners tend to do better in school, helping them make more money as adults and eventually buy a home for themselves. home ownership as an industry contributes to overall 18% of the entire economy. And so when we move, everybody moves. When people buy homes, people buy furniture. When people buy homes, they get mortgages. They get loans. They get insurance. They get all kinds of stuff. And so very, very powerful dynamic there. Now, I also wanted to share with you, as much as it's the American dream, it's a tough business. It's a tough business. And many people have a little bit of a sing-songy attitude when they get their license sometimes. Oh, I love houses and I love people, so I'm going to jump into this business. Well, I bought a home. The realtor made a large commission and didn't seem to do very much. So I thought I'd give real estate a try. Well, let me share with you, real estate is a tough business. And I'm going to share with you the hard truth here today. The median sales income of an agent is $35,000 a year. That's gross commissions before taxes and expenses. Now, why in the world would you get involved in a business like that? Well, because maybe you're not going to be average. You know, I built a fortune for myself. I've helped tens of thousands of people build phenomenal businesses because they were not average. A realtor with less than 2 years experience on average earns $8,900 a year. You know, in our program, we get people well over $100,000 within that 2 years. So we're going to show you the way to do it and the way that a lot of people do it that leads to tragedy. In fact, for people in the business less than 5 years, the average turnover is 85%. Now, you're like, hang on a second here. I just got my license. I've just paid a bunch of money. I've just paid for this course. I've just got a whole bunch of things now. I'm new in my office. And now this guy's trying to depress me. I'm trying to let you know that there's a way to win in this business and there's a way to lose. And if you just kind of follow the crowd, you're going to lose. The fact of the matter is you need to be very intentional. The fact of the matter is this 100 days course is going to test you. It's going to try you. You're going to want to give up. You're going to not want to follow through. You're not going to watch all the modules. You're going to want to do those things. And if every time you miss out on a step, you're closer to the 85% than the 15%. And that's why I want to challenge you. Can I contrast something for you? Here's NAR sales agents make $35,000. For the people we work with, the Buffini Company, their average is $310,000. Does that sound like a little better number? Almost 10 times the revenue? That's because those people are following a very particular system, a process by which they work every day, how they operate their business, how they interact with their customers. Now, it's interesting in real estate, there's a ton of people who actually teach and train in real estate who've never sold a house, who've never actually sat at a kitchen table and needed to get a signature on a document. And that signature was the difference between paying their mortgage and not. Well, let me say this to you. I've been in the business for 35 years, and I've earned my stripes one step at a time, selling real estate, building relationships, and connecting. There's nothing you're going to hear that I haven't practiced in my own business. And there's nothing that you're going to hear that I don't practice in my business today as the head of the largest coaching and training company in North America. So I want to share with you, if I can for a minute, humor me for a moment. I'm going to tell you my story. Now, most of the stories I'm going to tell you over the course of this program, you're going to hear many, many examples of our clients and people who've taken a training program just like you. But I just want you to know where I come from and what it's all about. I grew up in a 700 square foot home in Dublin. It looks like a great big house. It's actually that small little house there. My parents still live there. They've lived in that house for over 60 years. And I grew up with 5 boys and a girl, our grandparents on the weekend, right around 750 square feet. So I come from humble beginnings. When I emigrated from Ireland, I had less than $100 to my name. I did a whole bunch of different things. I sold T-shirts at the beach. I was a security guard. I worked in a photo mat. Remember those? So I did a whole bunch of stuff. But I saw in my local real estate office a sign in the window that says, "We train real estate agents." And so I set about getting my license. And shortly thereafter, while getting my license, I got into a very serious motorcycle accident. So now picture the scene. I owe over a couple of $100,000 in debt. I'm 19. I'm 7,000 miles away from home. But that phone by my elbow there, I used that phone to call my local real estate office and to sign up with the broker and to get into the business. So that's where I started. I started from a very humble place. I didn't even own a car at the time. That's true. In fact, the very first appointment I ever went on, I borrowed a car from a friend of mine whose son was a Grateful Dead fan. Remember the band, the Grateful Dead? And he had what was called a Deadhead mobile. And this was the picture they used to actually sell the car. This is the car's best side. So I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of contacts. I started from a bad spot. And I don't know where you're starting from, but you can start from where you are and go to where you want to be. Here I am, 35 years later. I've had a chance to speak to people and train people all over the world. I have a company here in Carlsbad with hundreds of employees and tens of thousands of people just like you that we coach to live the good life while working this referral system. That's a little bit of my story. And I know you're watching this, you have a story, but your story's not finished yet. Your story might be just at the beginning or the next leg of the journey. And with that in mind, I want to let you know about sales. I want to let you know that this is a sales job. Now, when most people hear the word sales, they have a negative connotation. And why? Because we've all had bad experiences with a salesperson. We've all had experiences with a salesperson where it seemed like their motivation wasn't that pure, or they were just in it for the money, or they really weren't trying to help you or listen, and so you get this negative connotation. Well, let me say this to you. Sales is a noble profession. When done right, it's masterful. What you came in contact with was an unskilled salesperson. What you came in contact with someone, when they have that short-term motivation, they don't last. Sales is a fabulous profession. It's what the free market system actually rests upon. And there's a three-legged stool I want to introduce you to, and that's what your business is built on. The first leg of the stool, well, that's sales and marketing, a very important leg of the stool. Then there's customer service. We're going to have you really lean into customer service. And then financial management. And if I can just take a moment here with this image, what I want to share with you is we're going to walk you through module after module of sales and marketing. You're going to see we have a heavy emphasis on sales and marketing because that's really what makes your business go. Then we're going to talk to you about phenomenal customer service, because when you have phenomenal customer service with the sales and marketing, now you start getting a lot of referrals. And then we want you to handle your money right so that you're able to live within your means, run your business like a business person, and then ultimately get the surpluses to be able to invest and perhaps, like I said, buy the very products you sell. Very, very powerful. And so we're going to walk you through that. I will say this. One of the dynamics you're going to hear from me over and over again is that you're going to have to grow as a person to be in this business. You have to stretch. And that's the exciting part. I hope you like to grow. I hope you like to learn. I hope you never get bored. And this business will never bore you. And I would say this in my schooling, as my teachers look on with shock and amazement of what's happened to me, because I wasn't that great of a student in school. But I will say this to you, when I got into the real estate business, I became a full-time student, and I'm still a full-time student. And that's because I'm continually learning, continually grow. We'll talk about it, but basically, you can grow as fast as you grow your self-esteem. One of the books that really changed my life was a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World by the great Og Mandino. Now, here's the thing. That's a book you can handle, isn't it? You know, that's nice and small. You can get through this. This book right here, outside of the Bible, was the best-selling book in the 20th century. It's phenomenal. It's a parable. It's a fun story. But for any salesperson, this is the one you'll keep close to your heart. So if you haven't read it, get a copy. I also did a podcast on it. You can listen to that. Go to the Brian Buffini Show. But that's the key. You want to keep growing. You want to keep putting the good stuff into your head. Now, the second part of sales being a noble profession is understanding the mindset difference between having a job and owning a business. Now, maybe you came from a background of having a job where you put in your 40 hours, 50 hours, you got your paycheck every 2 weeks. Maybe you were raised by parents or guardians that did the same, had a job, got paid every 2 weeks. Well, a business is different, and it has a different rhythm. And we found this even with successful agents, that when they're getting a lot of business and generating customers and the commissions are coming in, they still feel sometimes this sense of dis-ease, where they're just not settled because it doesn't come in on the 15th and it doesn't come in on the 1st the way they're used to. And so that's just one aspect of having a job versus having a business. It's a big deal. I know firsthand because I was raised by a fifth-generation house painter, self-employed his whole life. That's all our family's ever known. Yet I married a girl where her dad was in the Air Force. So he came home from work at the same time every day. And it used to create a little bit of tension for us because Beverly was always waiting for this certitude of when these checks were coming in. Why are we investing? Why are we spending money right now because you don't spend money on your job. You know, you might buy some clothes or whatever else, but you don't spend money on your job. You spend money in your business. You're investing, you're growing. So it's a different mindset, and it's very, very important. So sometimes someone who's new to the business or restarting their career feels this sense of ill at ease. And the reason being is you're supposed to, because now you own a business and you have a chance to build a business that can last for a long, 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 long time, to the point that you could sell it or pass it on to a loved one. Now, in regards to the business of real estate, sales and marketing is your business. You've got to generate customers. Nobody ever went out of business because they had too many customers in real estate. The customer service part is the job part of your business. So you have your business, and then there's a job inside it. Doing the real estate transaction, serving the customers, doing all the dynamics, and that we're going to teach you on of how to actually serve a customer. That's the job part. But over here, the sales and marketing, that's the business part. What do we see all the time? People focus on the job part, forget to do the business part, do a good job for their customers, but then go out of business. Sales and marketing, bringing the new customers in, that's the discipline you must always have, and then go do a great job for people. The last part is the financial management is your discipline. This is the discipline of owning a business and the way to own it right, okay? So we're going to help you through this. The last part of sales is a noble profession is understanding this mindset and this attitude is that serving is selling. Serving is selling. Poor salespeople are trying to take something from someone. Great salespeople are trying to add something to someone. And I want you to know that your attitude can be one of serving and giving and investing into people. And you need to understand when you're doing that, you're actually selling. The great Clement Stone said, sales are contingent upon the attitude of the salesman, not the attitude of the prospect. So we want you to keep developing yourself, keep growing yourself, keep your attitude going, and know that when you're serving, you're actually selling. Now, let me kind of roll up my sleeves with you right now and get into the nitty gritty of the actual 100 Days to Greatness. And why is 100 days important? Well, this is an established principle in many arenas. For example, when a president becomes first elected, that first 100 days of their administration becomes very significant. The policies are set. The cabinet is established. And if you'll look at the last 100 years of presidential politics, what was done in that first 100 days really dictated what happened for the first 4 years. Pregnancy, the first 100 days. Any of you moms out there? How was the first trimester? How important is the first trimester? Had the health and well-being of the child. How is that all established in the first trimester? And then we know the science behind college. We know that people who graduate, 92% of them graduate with almost exactly the GPA they had at the end of that first semester. That's why this 100 days is a big deal. That's why if you've gotten involved in this course and you're kind of sticking your toe in the water and, oh, I see about real estate, maybe I'm going to do this. Let me say this to you. This business has a window of opportunity. And the 100 days that you've now gotten yourself involved with here, it's a very significant time frame. And we have broken it down by science, by experience, by training millions of people to help people become successful. You need to know, we know how hard to push you. We know when to back off. We know what information to teach you and when. We know how many action steps you can do. We actually have a coaching company where thousands and thousands of people are coached by our company on a day-to-day basis. So we know exactly how much someone can do in a day and not do in a day. Every part of this program is experientially driven. Not just my own experience in real estate, but the experience of the tens of thousands of people we work with every single day. We've also put over 500,000 people through our training programs. And so just programs just like this. So we know exactly how much to do and how not to do. And so that's really, there's a science behind this. Now, you may not know me well. You might know me by reputation, but I'm going to have to ask you to trust me. I'm going to walk you through this 100 days program. And you're going to see how it's not this linear logical. Every week's the same. Every module's the same length. Every action step's the same. Not at all. Not at all. Because that's not how human beings work. We have brain waves. We have highs and lows of energy. We have times when we're taking in information and times we need to push out. There's times when we will have very high concentration of teaching with small levels of activities we want you to do. And then there's times there'll be very small amounts of teaching with high levels of activity. And in keeping with that, let me walk you through what we call week 1 of this program. There's actually 4 modules built in. Launching your career, that's this right here. Then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the actual working by referral system. In module 3, we're going to create a vibrant database. And in module 4, we're going to cover what's called the 80-20 rule. These are front-loaded programs. And we're really going to get into the fundamentals of the systems. These are a little longer modules. Your enthusiasm is higher. Maybe you don't have a lot going on right now, so we're going to try to press you. Now, just so you know, every week you will not have 4 modules. In fact, the vast majority of them, there's 1 module, and some of them are very short. But that first week, we have 4. In the second week, we have 3 modules. And this is really where this system we've developed for years really comes in play. How to stay in contact with people, how to care for your clients, and how to build a sense of community. That contact, care, and community, we've gone from now the fundamentals of the system to the fundamental activities. Now, again, by the end of just 2 weeks, you'll be in a very, very fundamental mindset. And we've done a lot of training. Week 3 is the last of the 3 module weeks, if you will. We'll be covering the 365 system and how you actually market and connect with your database every single day for the year. We're going to help you become a time management wizard. It is critical very early on how you take care of your time and how you maximize your time. And then we're going to talk about managing the world's most difficult person. We're going to talk about time, energy, and money and how to manage them in a day-to-day basis, especially for those of you who are new to the owning a business world. You know, you don't have a boss, you don't have a schedule. If you don't show up, no one's going to call to complain. If you don't show up, you don't get fired, not in real estate. So we have to manage ourselves. So those first 3 weeks, heavy modules, we're laying out the system. We're giving you the foundational programs and then the foundational how-tos. And that's when we'll start picking up with our activities. In week 4, we're going to teach you how to be a goal getter, not just a goal setter, but a goal getter. In week 5, very powerful, we're going to help you develop your online and offline strategy. We know this is a modern world we live in, so we're going to show you how to use the online and offline strategies and combine them together. In week 6 and week 7, we're going to get into working with the buyer part 1 and working with the buyer part 2. Now, this is exciting stuff. And many of you are going to want to fast forward to this part of the program because this is where I'm actually going to take you on appointments with me. And I'm going to take you from soup to nuts, from how to hold an open house, to how to meet a client, to how to connect with a client, how to follow up with them. I'm going to show you the actual, what we call the purchasing pathway, the buyer presentation. And I'm going to give you resources and dialogues and tools that even as a new agent, you're going to be able to follow along and come off as a totally capable, professional, experienced agent. And so you're going to love these. So I've never done this in my teaching career, but I've done it for this program right here. Similarly, in weeks 8 and 9, I want to take you on appointments with me and work with a seller. And you're going to see the pre-listing appointment. You're going to see my full listing presentation. And then following that, having to do a price reduction. I'm going to take you on those appointments with me. I'm going to give you the resources. We're going to give you the step-by-step training. And again, you're going to watch these. We have audios for you to listen to. You watch, you listen, you follow the resources. Within 100 days, you're going to be able to walk into someone's home, give a professional listing presentation, and walk out with a listing, a well-priced, ready-to-sell listing. We're going to get you there. In week 10, we're going to help you grow yourself so you can grow your business. In week 11, rolling up our sleeves into money matters. I'm going to teach you how to manage your money as a real estate agent, okay? In week 12, we're going to cover the lead cultivation program, how to take long-term leads and fill your pipeline so you have a great future. In week 13, we're going to help you have standout customer service. This is where you get to do a great job for people, have pride in your work. And in this system, when you do a great job for people, they'll refer you. And then lastly, in week 14, we're going to cover sustaining greatness, where we're going to help you find out about your career path and the career path that you can take, that this can be a phenomenal career for you. It can change your business, change your life, change your family's life like it has for mine. Now, what you're going to find in this program is that every week we're going to ask you to do something. We're going to ask you to take action on the training. There's ways to apply this program. There's activities to do. So you'll actually generate the customers. You'll actually do the things that actually cause people to call you, to connect with you, to want to go look at homes, that want to put their house on the market. But that stuff, you've got to do the work to make that happen. And the homework, the action steps, that's it. And I'm going to say this. If you do the action steps, you'll succeed. If you don't do the action steps, well, you're well on your way to being the 85%. Now, does that sound a little draconian? I'm around this business 35 years. I've seen the turnover. I've seen the carnage. The reason I made a commitment to build this program, because I want people who come into real estate to have a legitimate shot to find out, A, if this business is for them, and if it is, to succeed. Education without implementation is merely entertainment. You've got to apply what you learn. Now, we will also be asking you to do some real estate ready tasks. Now, this is for people who are brand new to the business. For example, we're going to be asking you to take steps to do the things so you have the practical tools, whether it's ordering signs and lock boxes or business cards, those kinds of things. We've laid them all out for you step by step. So over the course of 100 days, you'll be good to go. By the end of 100 days, you'll be a capable realtor who's got the skills, the abilities to do a good job for people. And you'll also have some customers. Now, you start with your kit. That's where you found your workbook, and I'm sure you've already tooled around inside that. It's a beautifully laid out workbook with a bunch of resources. There are 3 mailings for you to send out, okay? Now, you'll hear me say over and over again, we like mailings to go out on the 1st of the month, and then these e-reports to go out on the 15th of the month. Okay, every 2 weeks is what you're going to do during the training based on when you start, okay? So I'll be telling you, hey, send out a mailing on a particular week. It might not fall on the 1st, it might not fall on the 15th, but once you get past this 100 days, typically we like the mailings to go out on the 1st and these e-reports to go out on the 15th. They're all laid out for you. We've labeled them: first mailing, second mailing, third mailing. You'll even see the science behind the mailings. They're not just something to fill up somebody's mailbox. You'll also get the e-reports that you'll be sending on that are companion marketing pieces that are very informative and very effective. You're going to see 150 personal notes. I'll be sharing with you why personal notes are so crucial to your success. Now, throughout this program, you're going to hear and be asked to take action on putting your database and your information into the Referral Maker CRM. Now, you may have just joined a company that has a wonderful CRM, and many times the Referral Maker CRM integrates seamlessly with those. And maybe you're in a situation where after the 100 days, you'll just fully use your company CRM. That's all good. But for the 100 days training program, we have developed a tool with the Referral Maker CRM that sorts and qualifies the database better than any other, that will get you up and running so that you're working this system and working it right. And that's why it's embedded in the program. And so again, you're going to see modules and training regarding that. Very, very important. I'm going to share with you the importance of a CRM. We also have built this online resource center. Now, this is probably the sexiest, most fantastic part of this whole program. Obviously, the online resource center is where you'll have access to all 21 training modules. There are 44 downloadable or click-through resources. For example, the buyer presentation, the listing presentation, resources to send to your customers, resources to send to business owners, dialogues, all just phenomenal resources. It won't just be sitting out there in an overwhelming capacity. I'll be breaking it down bit by bit when you should download this and what you should do with it. There will be 14 video role plays of yours truly on appointments. And then there's 13 audio dialogues, because listening over and over again, repetition, is how you get really a familiarity. So now look, some of you may binge watch this program, and that's great. I don't mind that at all, but you can't binge watch your action steps. So it's really, really crucial that no matter what I say, or no matter how you want to take this course, there's a lot of freedom in it, but you've got to do the action steps every week. And if you check the boxes, look me in the eye. If you do that, you will succeed, and we'll have both achieved our goal. Because my goal is to get people into this business and help them succeed. And your job and your goal is you got into this business not to fail. You got in this business because you wanted to succeed. You like the sound of it. Now, lots of cool resources on the ORC, and then some basic things in your kit. You'll see we have those stickers Those are for sealing your envelopes. We call them the "Oh, by the way" stickers. You'll see the Power Hour sign. I'll show you how to use that. And you'll be doing power hours throughout your work week. I'm just so excited for you. I'm so excited because I remember the day I started. I've looked in the eyes of so many people the day they started. And I just want you to know what's in front of you. It's unbelievable. It's like the Oklahoma land run. There's just such an opportunity. And there's a career path for you. And I'm going to take you down this path. You start out here and you've got a chance to grow and develop and become who you're capable of becoming. Now, this first level, you're a licensee. You got a license to kill, James Bond. That's a great start. Okay, so you got a license, but, there's room to grow. Just because you got a license doesn't mean you're going to be great at this business. So we want you to grow, 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 and that's what this 100 Days program is for, till you become a producer. And now you've got a business where you're bringing in consistent volume of leads. You're consistently helping buyers and sellers make moves. Now, you're going to do it in a way where you're a total pro, highly skilled, great communicator with a real business. And then ultimately, an industry leader, someone who can be effective in the National Association of Realtors, someone who can be effective in a brokerage, someone who could be a team leader, but a person of influence. That's what you can be. This is the path I've followed for the past 35 years, and it has been the making of me. I love the real estate business, and I love people who have the courage to get into business for themselves. And I'm going to challenge you for the next 100 days. Join me. Watch every module, do every action step, and at the end of 100 days, you're going to be a pro. Now, the 100 Days to Greatness, we have a commitment form for you. So I'm committed to you. My team is committed to you. We've spent a fortune putting this program together. It's 1.5 years in development. So we're committed. Are you going to be committed? Let's take a look at your commitment form. So my 100 days begins, puts in your date, and ends on what date? During the 100 days, I, put your name in, will watch all 21 modules of the program, complete all training action steps and real estate ready tasks, and I'll send out each one of the 3 mailings. I'm going to send out the 3 e-reports. I'm going to write 150 notes. That's just 1.5 a day, boys and girls. And track all your activities and numbers in the Referral Maker CRM. When you do that, my expectation for you is that you'll do a minimum of 1 closed sale and a minimum of 2 pending sales during this program. Now, I also going to let you know there are many people who are going to blow past that number. And so many of you are going to do 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 sales. That's going to happen. But I want you to sign your name. That's the first signature. You're in the business of getting signatures. The first signature that needs to happen is yours on this commitment form. Now, another thing you're going to see throughout this program is stories just like yours. I don't mind sharing my story, but I'm really excited about the stories we've had a hand in creating over the past 25 years. And you're going to get to hear from a whole bunch of folks just like you, whether we tell their story and show their picture or sometimes a video. And the purpose of that is to give you the hope and encouragement to see yourself in these people so that you'll say the phrase, if they can do it, I can do it. Or maybe, I did it before, I can do it again. Maybe you were successful in another career and now you're in this new career. Maybe you took a break from real estate and it's time to get back on the horse. Whether you're brand new coming out of college, whether you've been in the business for decades, the fact of the matter is we can help you get on the right path in 100 days. And we're going to share stories that no matter who you are, you will definitely find someone you can relate to. And this first story I want to share with you is one I love. Her name is Tanisha Lusk, and she's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Her first year in real estate, she closed 3 sales for the whole year. And then she took our training. That following year, she closed 25 sales. And last year, she did 16 million in volume. This lass is on a great path to build a great business and have a great life. She's a great professional agent right there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it's just such a joy for me and for our organization to have a hand in a story like Tanisha. And we have thousands like that. And here's my challenge to all of you. I'm hoping you're next. I'm hoping I'm going to be telling your story one day. I'm hoping in a future training program, I'm going to have your picture or your video as we tell your story of where you started and how successful you've become. So what did we cover today? We covered the hardest business you'll ever love. We talked about how sales is a noble profession. And we talked about that 100 days and how that window keeps closing. And that's why we got to get after it. So welcome to 100 Days to Greatness. Welcome to the real estate business. You're on your way to working in a profession you can be proud of and a business and life you've dreamed of.